The Philadelphia Eagles have made a shocking move that has sent ripples through the fan base. The decision to part ways with legendary offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland. This isn't just a coaching change. It's a seismic shift for a franchise that has built its recent success on a formidable offensive line. Stoutland wasn't merely a coach. He was the cornerstone of the Eagles' offensive identity. For 13 seasons, he molded the offensive line into a powerhouse, steering the team through the highs of a Super Bowl 52 victory and the lows of rebuilding phases. Under his watch, the Eagles earned an impressive 27 Pro Bowl selections, cementing their status as one of the league's elite units. His departure raises a multitude of questions, not only about the present, but also about the future of this franchise. Head coach Nick Sirianni initially planned to retain Stoutland as the sole offensive line coach, while transferring run-game coordinator duties to Ryan Mahaffey, a choice aligned with the new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion's vision. Mahaffey's diverse coaching background, including his time with the Green Bay Packers and experience as a fullback, seemed like a strategic move to enhance the team's evolving offensive scheme. However, the moment Stoutland learned that he would lose his dual role, it became evident that this was a significant demotion for a coach who had been instrumental in the Eagles' success. Stoutland's decision to step away entirely is a loss that cannot be overstated, leaving the Eagles scrambling to fill one of the most critical roles on their coaching staff. Enter Chris Cooper, a name that might not evoke the same reverence as Stoutland, but carries its own set of credentials. Cooper, a former offensive guard for the Denver Broncos, has a coaching resume that includes stints at various levels, from high school to the NFL. His time under Vic Fangio in Denver and his endorsement from Fangio, now the Eagles' defensive coordinator, played a significant role in his hiring. Yet, the question remains, can Cooper live up to the legacy left by Stoutland? Cooper's tenure as the Vikings' offensive line coach came with mixed results. While players like left tackle Christian Darrisaw and right tackle Brian O'Neill thrived under his coaching, the development of interior linemen like center Garrett Bradbury raised eyebrows. Their noticeable improvements only materialized after they left Minnesota. This inconsistency casts a shadow over Cooper's ability to foster growth and stability in a crucial position. Moreover, it's essential to remember that Cooper did not carry the title of run-game coordinator in Minnesota. That responsibility was shouldered by another coach, which raises concerns about Cooper's capacity to adapt in Philadelphia's new run-heavy scheme. The Eagles are moving towards a Shanahan/McVay-influenced offensive approach, which will demand a significant adjustment from the offensive line. More outside zone runs, lateral movement, and scheme-reliant blocking are all on the horizon, and Cooper's ability to implement this style effectively will be scrutinized. For a fan base that has witnessed the team's offensive line thrive under Stoutland's guidance, this transition is fraught with uncertainty. While Cooper's hiring comes with Fangio's strong endorsement, an endorsement that should not be dismissed lightly, it does little to quell the skepticism among fans. The Eagles are entering a new era, and with it comes the pressure of expectation and the weight of legacy. The franchise has been built on the foundation of a dominant offensive line, and the stakes have never been higher. The question now is whether Cooper can rise to the occasion and maintain the standard that Stoutland set. As we transition to the next story, the implications of these coaching changes will undoubtedly reverberate throughout the season, shaping the Eagles' identity on the field. Will Cooper be the right fit for this crucial role, or will the Eagles find themselves yearning for the stability that Stoutland provided? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The eyes of Philadelphia are watching closely. Offensive line depth is paramount for the Philadelphia Eagles these days, and as we dig deeper into the roster, the narrative becomes even more intriguing. The Eagles are well aware that a solid offensive line is the backbone of any successful football team. And while last year's draft did yield promising talent like tackles Miles Hinton and Cameron Williams, as well as center Drew Kendall, there remains a pressing need to bolster the guard position. Landon Dickerson and Tyler Steen currently lead the charge at guard, but behind them, the depth is a bit thin. Undrafted free agents Willie Lampkin and Holland Pierce spent last season developing, with Lampkin sidelined on injured reserve due to a knee issue and Pierce honing his skills on the practice squad. Both players have potential, but let's be honest, the Eagles might need to look beyond their current roster to find someone who can contribute sooner rather than later. The prospect of bringing in a veteran presence could shake things up and elevate the entire offensive line. Enter Mekhi Becton. The former starter for the Eagles and Los Angeles Chargers has a track record that could benefit Philadelphia. Becton was a solid right guard during his tenure with the Eagles, especially in his first year under the watchful eye of offensive line guru Jeff Stoutland. Now, with Chris Cooper at the helm, the question arises, would Becton still fit into the new offensive scheme being implemented under Sean Mannion? Despite the uncertainty, Becton's familiarity with key players like Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson cannot be overlooked. His ability as a run blocker remains intact, which is crucial for any team looking to establish a ground game. However, the elephant in the room is his pass blocking performance. Last season, Becton allowed 4 sacks and an alarming 33 pressures at right guard, culminating in a pressure rate of 7.7%. Those numbers were certainly a factor in the Chargers' decision to part ways with him, but they also point to areas where he needs to improve to regain his status as a reliable starter. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Eagles have shown a propensity for low-risk, high-reward signings, and Becton could fit that mold perfectly. With him potentially available at a much lower price than the 2-year, $20 million deal he signed with the Chargers, the Eagles might find this an opportune moment to revisit the idea of reuniting with him. Steen, who started all 17 games last season as a right guard, performed admirably. He allowed 2 sacks in 557 pass blocking snaps and posted a pressure rate of 5.7%, which is slightly better than Becton's numbers. However, the Eagles' decision to let Becton walk previously was largely influenced by financial considerations rather than purely performance metrics. A reunion with Becton could push Steen to elevate his game, creating a competitive environment that could benefit the entire offensive line. In an ideal scenario, Becton could come back to Philadelphia not just as a backup, but as a legitimate contender for a starting position. The Eagles might hesitate to disrupt Steen's development, but the reality is competition breeds excellence. If Becton can recapture his best form, he could provide the Eagles with the depth they desperately need on the interior of the offensive line. As the offseason rolls on and the Eagles continue to evaluate their roster, the prospect of bringing back Mekhi Becton offers both intrigue and potential. It's a move that could fortify the offensive line depth while also pushing the younger players to raise their game. The stakes are high, and as fans, we're all watching closely to see how this unfolds. What do you think about the possibility of Becton returning to Philadelphia? Is he the missing piece in the Eagles' offensive line puzzle? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for the latest updates as we continue to follow this exciting journey with our beloved Eagles.